This is a presentation on the legalization of marijuana. This is its current status. The buying, selling, possession, and trafficking of marijuana is illegal throughout Canada. In the spring of 2017, the Government of Canada will propose to Parliament and Canadians a new legislative framework for the legislation of marijuana. As you see on the diagram on the right, 40% of Canadians have used marijuana, 10% of Canadians have used marijuana in the past year, 20% of Canadians aged 15 to 24 used marijuana in the past year, and 70% of Canadians used marijuana are over the age of 25. Here are some reasons to legalize it. Through legalization, the selling of marijuana can be better regulated to better protect the health and safety of Canadians. It will also take work away from illegal dealers and make the drug less accessible to people under the age of 19. This is supported by two arguments in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. The first is, without direct inclusion or exclusion of basic human rights, the right to do drugs could be considered a basic human right. Second, the right to liberty in Section 7 of the Charter extends far enough to include freedom in drug use. Here's what it would look like. Who would buy it? Assuming that the use of marijuana would be regulated similarly to that of cigarettes and alcohol, buying marijuana should follow similar rules. This would mean that the person buying the marijuana would have to be over the age of 19, which changes with the drinking age in each province, and be able to supply valid photo ID such as driver's license or a health card. As you see in the image on the right, this is a common picture that you see in gas stations or an LCBO asking for ID if you are under the age of 30 to ensure that no one under the age of 19 is buying any alcohol or cigarettes. Who would sell it? According to Justin Trudeau, marijuana would not be sold in corner stores. It is not yet known where it will be sold, with discussions about either selling it in the LCBO, who already have an enforcement system, or making a new task force specific to the selling of marijuana. Who would be able to buy it? Quantity is also an issue with the selling of marijuana. On one hand, it would be beneficial to not have to go buy often, rather than keep a small stash, but with larger quantities, we increase the risk of resale, which would be illegal. An estimated amount is about 150 grams of dried marijuana or equivalent, since that is what citizens are allowed to legally medicinally possess. Here are the laws that would surround smoking marijuana, assuming that the laws would follow that of cigarettes. The legal age in Ontario is 19. Selling to minors comes at a $10,000 fine for a first offense and a $150,000 fine for a third offense. Smoking is banned in residential and workplaces. Designated smoking rooms are only allowed in residential care buildings, and if these rules are not followed, the owner may get fines of up to $300. Smoking on patios has also been banned since January 1st, 2015. Here are some laws based off its effects. Marijuana depresses your reflexes similarly to the way that alcohol does. Therefore, one major issue could be that people are driving under the influence of marijuana and causing car accidents. Where could we profit from? Canada typically spends between $1.6 to $6 billion in marijuana law enforcement, prosecution, and incarnation. Although we would still need this enforcement, it has the potential to be dramatically reduced. Marijuana could easily be taxed just like cigarettes, bringing another $7 billion to the Canadian government. There is also estimates that the marijuana industry has the possibility of becoming a $100 billion taxable industry very quickly. With this growth in profit and need for legal workers in the marijuana industry, many jobs could become available. In the final steps, before marijuana is completely legalized, there's a small list of what needs to be done. First, we must create and test a task force to make sure that everything is being carried out legally. We either need to set up dispensaries or modify the LCBOs to accompany the new selling of marijuana, and we need to find a way to prevent or catch driving under the influence of marijuana. Finally, I just have a video to show you with Justin Trudeau about this topic.
We saw a string of police raids and arrests across Toronto through the pot dispensaries. This was a mess that a lot of people think could have been sidestepped had your government decriminalized marijuana while working on the framework to legalize it. Now, if your government concedes that this shouldn't be a crime, why is the current law still being enforced?
The reason why I believe that controlling and regulating marijuana, that legalizing marijuana is the right step for us, is because of two things. One, it'll make it harder for young people to get access to marijuana, because whatever you say about marijuana compared to alcohol or cigarettes, we know that the impact on the developing brain is something we need to prevent. So young people right now have easy access to marijuana. Controlling and regulating it will make it more difficult for them. One. Two, we need to remove the criminal element, the street gangs, the organized crime from the sale of marijuana. Regulating, controlling it will do that. Decriminalizing does absolutely nothing on either of those two things. You decriminalize it, you make it easier for kids to access it. Decriminalize it, you continue to have organized crime controlling marijuana. That's not interesting to us. That's counter to why we want to do it. That's why decriminalization has never been interesting to us.
So as we saw there are many reasons Canadians are attempting to legalize marijuana in the way that we have so far without decriminalizing it. And as Justin Trudeau explained, this is to prevent young people from buying into this industry when they are too young. And it is also to ensure that the crime rates do not go up because of this. This is also why we need to create and test a task force so that we don't make any mistakes and raise crime rates or endanger any people at all. Thank you very much for watching. And this is my bibliography for all the information that I've used and all the parenthetical citations throughout the presentation. And this is my bibliography for the images, and all of this will be found in the description bar below.